If you guys want to be part of our live mailbags here at the Cowboys Report, it's pretty darn simple. You got to be subscribed, because else, how are you going to know when we're actually live? So if you haven't already, if you're part of the, I think it's at a 48% now, of the people who watch the show and yet aren't actually subscribed, let's go ahead and change that. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. That way you don't miss out on the daily videos we put out around the Dallas Cowboys. The season, it's not going great, but you know what? The offseason is coming up, and we're not going to go away anytime soon. We will continue to give you guys daily Cowboys videos. If you haven't already, hit the big red button and subscribe today. First up from Dwayne Jackson. If Mike Nolan doesn't return, who do you think the Cowboys are going to be targeting? And what running backs do you think will be available on day 2? Well, first off, if Nolan doesn't come back, I think George Edwards makes some sense there. I'm looking at maybe the Chiefs defensive backs coach. Dan Quinn is out there. I'd see if Wade Phillips wants to return as well. Also, I'm not taking a back in day 2. I don't see the benefit of doing that because I have Zeke and I have Tony Pollard. I can move on from Zeke, I guess, if I want, but I'm probably spending a round 4 pick because I got bigger needs as opposed to a running back than going with another one on day 2. There will be guys available. I'm not convinced that Travis Etienne falls quite that far, but Chuba Hubbard could be there. North Carolina's got 2 pretty good backs, Kenneth Gainwell, Kylan Hill. I'm just not going to spend a premium pick on a back this year. Alan Williams. I know some people are saying tank, but somehow if we win the East and get some picks in the draft, wouldn't that be the best case scenario with some talent coming back next year like Lawrence? Your picks, though, aren't going to be as good. So what is the benefit of winning the East? Your team feels better about itself? You show some promise, guys can develop, and you still lose games. The coaching staff has to keep everything high and positive in the locker room. But I think those earlier draft picks, getting a top 5 pick or even a top 10 pick instead of pick 19, I think it's a lot more valuable to you long term than our adults didn't lose their confidence. I think the professional athletes should be able to keep their confidence and remain optimistic heading into next year. It's been made very clear by me, folks. I am on Team Tank. Where do you guys check in, though? Type T for Tank, W for you want to win, darn it, no matter what the draft pick ends up being. So let me know in the comments section here, T for Tank or W for a win. And as a reminder, go get yourself an Embrace the Tank t-shirt. They're available at chatsports.com/tank. That is in the comments and in the description as well. It's a long-term t-shirt too, because you've got the tanking part on the front and DeMarcus Lawrence, number 90, on the back. Get yours today at chatsports.com/tank. From Yeti Grandpa, we should trade down and get Caleb Farley or Shaun Wade, or trade down later. Well, I'm always on board to trade down. I am of this mindset. At almost all costs, there are some exceptions, potentially being number 1 overall, or if literally no one's traded for you, which never happens, I say trade down. And whether you get Caleb Farley or Surtain or Shaun Wade if he bounces back as the year goes on, or a J.C. Horn or a defensive lineman or a linebacker, whatever, I think trading down is your best bet. Because the draft is a lottery. It is a bit of a crapshoot. You are going to be more likely to find starters if you have 3 or 4 top 75 picks as opposed to 2 top 75 picks. I think that would be a better path for the Dallas Cowboys. Patrick Hickman is a round 3 grade too high for the BYU defensive lineman. I think it's pronounced Khyiris Tonga. I might be mispronouncing that first name, though. But I know it's Tonga. Big boy. He fits the Fatties Only campaign. Which is dead. Good point there, producer Brett. I think it's a little bit early. I think beginning of day 3. I just don't know. Look, he's a huge guy. I don't know if you're going to get enough on all 3 downs out of him. It's also kind of unusual. He doesn't stop the run as much as you might expect. So, big boy, I like him. I think I lean more towards round 4 for him, though. From Ben Isaacson, what position do you think the Cowboys will value the most in the draft? Ooh, good question. In terms of volume of picks, probably cornerback. And I think they like to spend picks on corners based on what they've done in the past. In terms of what pick they spend the earliest on, it still might actually end up being corner. I thought about safety here, but that's me trying to speak it into existence and not what they've done in the past there. So I'll go corner. I think you could see something similar to what they did last year, where they spent a day 1 or day 2 pick and an extra day 3 pick on the position as well. But there are a lot of needs on defense. As a result, at least for me, Ben, it's a little bit tricky for me to figure out exactly which route they'll end up going. But I think secondary in general, they got to spend premium picks on. Stinky Cheese, great name, man. Is Caleb Farley worthy of a top 10 pick? It's early for me. I haven't finished my big board by any means. I think there is a very real chance Caleb Farley checks in either just inside my top 10 or just inside of it. And once you factor out positions that you don't need, I do think for the Cowboys, Farley would be worthy of a top 10 pick or their first pick in round 1. Top 5? Probably not. Top 10? I do think so. I want you guys now to predict the Cowboys' record for this season. We were very optimistic here. We're like, oh yeah, 10-6, 11-5. Cowboys going to make the playoffs, and they are now 2-7. So things have not gone their way that anyone expected. So predict the record for me in the comments section. What will be that record? I am going to make this, by the way, the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get that ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and let me know. From Most Wise One, I like that name. We need a Herschel Walker trade right now. Is there one? If you get the number 1 overall pick, maybe. In terms of a player, I guess if you take Trevor Lawrence and then trade him, sure. The problem there, my friend, is that's not how the NFL operates anymore. I think the NFL overall, because it's a copycat league, they saw the Vikings mess up in a brutal way, and they're like, oh God, we have to value draft picks now. Jimmy Johnson really did change the way the NFL values draft picks. The draft pick value chart, it's changed, it's using different numbers now, but it's all built around the one that Jimmy Johnson did. So because of that, I don't think you'll ever see a Herschel Walker-type trade outside of one for a number 1 overall pick, which maybe the Cowboys get that pick, but in the end, probably not. Now, today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code that you see on your screen. That is Cowboys125. And if you are a new BetUS customer, we are going to try and make your lives a little bit easier to get involved with sports betting. The Cowboys coming off a cover against the Steelers, which stunned me. So we're going to double down this week. I think the Cowboys are covering this week against Minnesota. If you agree and you want to place a bet on it, and you're a new BetUS customer, of course, as well. If they don't cover, the Cowboys, against Minnesota, I will cover your bet loss up to $50. All they have to do, guys, is lose by 6 or less right now. That is it. The Vikings right now are a 7-point favorite. I think the Cowboys can lose by 4. I think that's very reasonable here. So head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys125. You have to deposit at least $100 to get the bonus and, of course, to be eligible for this deal. And then once you guys do that, or if you have questions at all, you can email us at cowboys@chatsports.com. That is cowboys@chatsports.com. From Mitchell Swenson, Tom, let's say you're in charge of the Cowboys on draft day. What trade down scenarios would you turn down or accept? My answer is yes. I am going to take the best trade offer to move down. If I'm picking top 5 and there's a team that wants a quarterback, or even if the Chargers like, damn it, we need Penei Sewell, I'm moving down. And I'm getting as much as I possibly can, and then I'm going to reset and say, okay, who's left? If I got Surtain and Farley and Horn, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and move down, maybe even a second time as well. Alicia, if we have a top 2 pick, and by some miracle in the second round, Jamar Chase is available, would Dallas take him and move Gallup as a number 4 receiver or trade Gallup? For starters, don't get your hopes up about Jamar Chase falling all the way down to pick, 34. If he were there by some miracle, you might trade the pick. I think it's also more likely that you would trade Michael Gallup. The Cowboys don't utilize a lot of 4 receiver sets. They like to use a tight end and they like the back out there. So I wouldn't get your hopes up about Jamar Chase falling to you in round 2. I think that's a little bit too unrealistic. From Mega Randy Martin, what are the best linebacker prospects in coverage this year, and what are their draft grades? I think Micah Parsons out of Penn State is probably your best linebacker. He's going to be a top 10, top 15 pick in all likelihood. I think he's better at blitzing than he is in coverage, which reminds me too much of Jalen Smith. The other guy in coverage that I really like, and you guys might get burned again here by Jalen Smith too, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame. I think maybe mid-first round, latest is probably early second round. He went to Notre Dame as well. So again, the Jalen Smith stuff, I get that right there. I don't know if we're going to take a linebacker early. Maybe it's trying to wait. I like Nick Bolton out of Missouri, but he's probably more of a round 3 guy, maybe early or mid to late round 2. We'll see what the Cowboys do at linebacker. From Michael Schmidt. Can't believe you brought this one up, Brett. I'm concerned about Zeke's mental state. Every time he's on the camera, he's mouth-breathing and lost in the sauce. You see a comeback of pre-contract Zeke. I think you might be overthinking it a little bit there. I wouldn't worry about when the camera looks at the sideline like you're getting a snippet of an entire game. I'm worried about the fumbles for Zeke and just the lack of explosive plays. He's not the same explosive guy we saw early in his career, and yes, that does concern me. From GRFX, what about that offensive lineman we have from Mexico? We haven't had an Isaac Alarcon question in quite a while here. Simple. He's not ready, guys. When you're playing at like the equivalent of not even FCS level coming from Mexico, and you are a free practice squad spot, he's not ready. And in reality, folks, he might not ever be ready. So I would not assume he becomes anything for you. It was a free trial run. See how he develops, but you're not banking on Isaac Alarcon becoming a long-term piece of this offense anytime soon. What would you guys rather have? A top 5 pick or win the NFC East? Let me know what you guys think here in the comment section. Type W for win or type P for pick. As of right now, you're drafting inside the top 5. The current NFL draft order from the NFL based on current strength of schedule, so it's different than, for example, Tankathon, has the Cowboys right now at number 5. A super chat just came in from Alan Williams as well. Tom, let's say you're Jerry Jones. Who would you release and who would you get on this team? Well, first off, I would love to be Jerry because I'm making so much money and I'm rich and I'm just set for life. In terms of free agents, you're probably going to have to go bargain bin shopping with where you're at because I'm going to pay Dak because I'm not an idiot. In terms of who I'm releasing, probably going to try and move on from Jalen Smith. And I would explore a Zeke Elliott move on, but then again, I wouldn't have paid the back in the first place. And then draft-wise, I'm trading down. Trader Jerry would be back if I were him this year.